Welcome to the International News Channel, News LD. Today we present to you a news entitled,
Ford to lose $3 billion from EV sales to consumers this year. Ford, stated it's going to lose $3 billion on its sales of electrical automobiles to consumers this year. Nevertheless, it nonetheless expects to hit the revenue targets it set for this year of between $9 billion and $11 billion. Ford stated these EV losses and the general revenue each come earlier than bills from curiosity and taxes. The $3 billion loss is roughly equal to what it misplaced on EVs. On that foundation, the final 2 years mixed. It stated it misplaced about $900 million in 2021 and $2.1 billion in 2022. It's the primary time it gave a breakout of the outcomes from its EV operations. Nevertheless, it stated it nonetheless expects EVs to begin getting cash quickly, going from a 40% working loss margin final year, when it bought about 96,000 EVs, bringing in $5.3 billion in income, to about an 8% revenue margin by the tip of 2026. It expects elevated manufacturing of EVs to carry international product of these automobiles to a $2 million annual charge by the tip of that year. Even when Ford hits its revenue margin targets for the EV enterprise, it'll nonetheless be far much less worthwhile than what's been reported at EV chief Tesla. It reported a 22% revenue margin within the fourth quarter, once more excluding the price of curiosity and taxes in addition to depreciation and amortization. Whereas it's not a precise comparability to the revenue margins reported by Ford and different longtime automakers, it is a sign that Tesla has a large lead in making a revenue promoting EVs, whereas legacy automakers battle to make a revenue on electrical automobiles. However, when questioned throughout an investor convention named Thursday whether or not Ford would have the opportunity to hit its EV revenue targets, John Lawler, Ford's CFO, stated the corporate is assured with its projection, partly due to the variety of Tesla alumni it has been in a position to rent away. Look, it's concerning the expertise we've got, Lawler stated. Everyone knows there's one worthwhile EV producer. The parents that designed these automobiles are at Ford. It's a complete new approach of how we're designing automobiles, a lot centered on power effectivity. And we've got the folks at Ford that know the way to do this. Ford lowered the value of certainly one of its EVs, the Mustang Mach-E, earlier this year when it raised manufacturing of these automobiles, and Tesla has additionally lowered the value of its lower-priced fashions in varied markets worldwide, whereas each the Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning EV pickup have an extended record of ready prospects. Ford CEO Jim Farley stated throughout an earnings name earlier this year that Ford encountered quite a few issues with their manufacturing, making the ramp-up of EVs rather more costly than it had anticipated. We didn't know that our wiring harness for Mach-E was 1.6 kilometers longer than it wanted to be. We didn't comprehend it's 70 kilos heavier and that's cost an extra $300 a battery, he stated on a Name with Traders. We didn't know that we underinvested in braking know-how to save on the battery dimension. Farley stated these and different price issues meant that Ford left about $2 billion of revenue on the desk. Ford, which might be assembly with traders later Thursday, launched monetary information on EVs early Thursday that might be proven as a part of that presentation. The presentation will element how Ford will report outcomes going ahead, now not breaking out earnings and losses by geographic area, however by product line as an alternative. Ford Blue is the section for shopper automobiles with inside combustion engines, ICE, and hybrid automobiles. Ford Mannequin is the section for EVs, and Ford Professional for industrial automobiles, together with each ICE and EVs. Final year it had earnings earlier than curiosity and taxes of $6.8 billion from Ford Blue, $3.2 billion from Ford Professional, as well as to $2.7 billion from Ford Credit Score, which coded the losses from final year. It expects to make about $7 billion from Ford Blue and $6 billion from Ford Professional this year, though earnings from Ford Credit Score are anticipated to fall by about 50% to $1.3 billion.